Welcome. In this video, we're going to take a look at how you can generate alerts if a new server port becomes active. My name is Darragh Delaney from Netfort. So first up, let's define what is a server. So for the purpose of this video, a server is a network device that responds to a connection attempt from a client or a host. So for example, if you've got a web server and you browse to that web server, your client connects to it, it responds to your connection attempt and then sends you back content, click on a link or whatever. Or if you map a file share, the file server responds to your connection attempt and presents you with a list of files that are available. If it's TCP, you get this handshake, which is used to set up the connection. UDP is slightly different, but the server is the one that responds to your connection attempt. Now, a server responds on a port number. So if it's port 80, you'd use, if it's web, you typically would use port 80. File share, you might use 445. Something like Telnet, you use port 23. So there are lists of ports, and it's recommended you use port 80 for web, but you don't have to. In today's world, port 80 is used for lots of applications, anything from Dropbox to Skype. So these are just a guide. They're not definite list of what applications will use what port. Now, why monitor servers? Why all this? Why am I even talking about detecting new server ports? Well, if you've got an environment where it may be restricted, it may be because of compliance standards such as GDPR, you want to make sure that that network is secure and that people aren't making changes or that new applications aren't being installed and now using new port numbers. Well, then it's good practice to be alerted if somebody enables a new port on a server, because that's either somebody's installed a new application, maybe somebody's messed around with firewall settings on the server, but something's happened and that server is now listening on a new port number. So within this video, we're going to use our LangGuardian product to generate the alert, and what it does is it monitors the network traffic going to and from the servers, and it keeps an inventory of what ports are active on what server. And if a new port becomes active, it checks its inventory. If it hasn't found it before, it triggers an alert, and then you can take the appropriate action, which might be to shut the server down while you investigate or uninstall some application that was put on that particular device. So let's take a look at it in action and how you can detect new ports on servers. So I'm logged onto my LangGuardian here, and to get a quick snapshot or view of what server ports have become active on my network, if you search bar and type in ports, what you're looking for here is this network events new server ports, this particular report here. Open that up. Now what I can do is go back over the inventory. My case here, I might go back from 1st of February to today's date, or maybe I just want to check for the last 24 hours. By the way, you can be alerted as well, so that you don't have to run a report. If you want to be immediately notified via email or maybe via syslog, something like that, the LangGuardian can trigger an alarm as well. But I just want to check the inventory, so I'm going to select time range here and run the report. So what I found is on my network we have a number of new ports which have become active on some of our servers. We have the server IP here, sometimes with the host name. We've got the port that has become active, when this port became active, and the server reply. Now sometimes the server reply is very readable. For example, here we can see it's an SSH connection using SSH 2.0. Here we've got HTTP connection, and you can even see the URL here that was accessed. This is slightly more, I suppose it's not as obvious. It just says %FF. Now I see SMB. If we look at the port number there, that's 139, so that's probably server messaging block, Microsoft protocol. But here's one here, it's HTTPS. If I go back here, I see 443. This is just garbage. This is just a binary response, probably because this is encrypted, so it's nothing we can understand by just looking at that text there. But the significant thing is that that port on this date and time became active. So we may want to ask the question, who did this? why was this enabled? Same applies, this is more binary strings here, but here then we have more, they're more human readable, SSH and another HTTP connection. Quite a bit of detail in here. There's somebody's must be running a report with a date or something. We can see the response here. Now, if I want to be alerted on this, what I can do here is view or mark the signature. So just click on that. And I want to take off that destination there. We could just leave that off. Action, maybe send to the syslog collector or send an email, as I mentioned. You can put a description. Please check the server. Any source. You can pick any sensor if you want. Any destination. Except put a description here like, please check server for new, oops, if I spelled it correctly, for new apps. And just make sure, yeah, send an email is set, yep, save that. So now I'll also be alerted if that any other new server ports are detected on my network. You could also add this to your dashboard, just add the new server ports report to your dashboard. But that's a new feature that allows you to generate that inventory of all new server ports on your network. Ideal in compliance situations, as I mentioned earlier, like GDPR, where you have to keep a very close eye on your network, especially changes that's part of that compliance standard. Okay, if you don't have LangGuardian and you want to try this out yourself, there is a 30-day trial available on our website at www.netfort.com.